Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Elephant Exposed. I am your host, CJ Jones, and this is our co-host, our main man, the one that brings the relief, the one that brings the pain, the one that brings the other side of the elephant to let you know how he feel, Mr. Duane Stinson. That's my co-host. Say what's up, my brother.
What up? What up? What up?
Good. Love that energy. I love that energy, man. I love that top too, bro. I'm gonna have to get that from you sometime. But anyway, listen, man, let's just dive right into this thing. What I'm gonna do is get to this particular video that got my attention not too long ago, and I want to see how you feel about it. Now, to be honest with you, I will be honest with you, D. I did kind of sneak a peek at it a little bit because I was because it was clickbait for me, and so I was like, okay. And so of course, this video is not ours. Yeah, it's not our content. This is content that comes from TYT, Dr. Richard is commentating off of this. They came across this racist seminar instructor. Just to give you some background, pretty sure he's going to say it and everything, and we want to react to it. So, so if you something hits you in the spirit and you say, hold on, pause, we're going to do just that, and we're going to dive right into it. Okay, my brother?
All right.
Here we go.
Racist seminar. Such a damn shame. This was at a concealed carry event, all right? So this was at a Vegas concealed carry event on April 10th. This was a really, really racist presentation. But let me first bring you to this. Here it is.
Firearm safety is no joke. Stop laughing. The rules are different for races, right? So firearm safety for white people. Always put your beer down before handling your firearm. Always keep your finger out of your nose while shooting. Always wear a wife beater on the range. And always make sure there are no minorities in your backdrop.
All right, you saw how the white crowd became increasingly uncomfortable with those jokes. Okay, all right. Now, that was just the pretext for his real jokes that he wanted to tell. So he decided to lead with those in order to tell these jokes that received a roaring round of applause. Here it is.
Or you guys get to laughing too much. Always shoot the gun right side up. Always lick the chicken grease off your fingers before shooting. Always make sure there's a white person around so you have someone to blame for everything that goes wrong in your life. And always aim for small children to ensure you actually hit another gang member.
Whoa, we were okay with the regular racist stuff.
What's up, my bro?
Whoa
is right. Whoa is definitely right. I'm here what the good doctor say. Well, I mean, unless you want to say something like right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to hear what the good doctor say first, and then we'll dive in.
But man, when you're a racist presenter in front of a crowd of racist people, and you have just told a racist joke that made them go, whoa, buddy. Let's put up his picture. We've identified him, all right? Nefi Kaliki was the instructor at the CCW gun safety seminar. He later defended his racist routine on Twitter. We got it. He said, people got equally roasted in my class at the Liberty last Sunday. I am a minority, FYI. Well, no, they did not get equally roasted, sir. Your jokes were decisively much more bigoted, racist, and insensitive against the Black community. He continued, however. He also said, I am a minority and I was the one telling the jokes. I am an Afghan American and I come from a Muslim family. For those to use my comedy and my event as fodder for your political nonsense is shameful. That audience was my audience, and it was comprised of a wide mix of racists. Yeah. Here are some of the GOP candidates that attended the seminar. Let's put them up. There they go. All right. You got candidates for Congress, candidate for US Senate, candidate for sheriff, and candidate for governor. They were in their element. No need to do that kind of presentation, all of those racial tropes, talking about gun safety. That is not only distasteful, but really a shock to the conscience. But for this individual, it is normative. You have to check things like this in society because that person feels protected because of those damn laughs. Well, I'm not laughing with you. There's a whole lot of people around this country who are not laughing with you. All right, Ms. Dahl, thoughts?
I was so disgusted by that video.
Yeah.
Just so horrible. Those legislators that are there should really have spoken out against it. Minorities can definitely be racist against other minorities. They can be racist against even themselves. So that doesn't excuse anybody's behavior. Absolutely. And his comment in particular about the children to me was the most offensive. And it speaks to a little bit of what we just talked about the point system of locking up juveniles. It's, if you are making this joke, it's because there is this perception that Black children are worthless or destined to crime, and it makes it okay then for a police officer to be more likely to arrest them. So this is something that, regardless of whether or not it was done to do a punchline, it does speak to how we treat Black children in our country. And I was just disgusted by it.
Very well said.
Okay, my bro. I'll let you dive in first. What was your impression of this video? Because I see you taking breaths.
And you talking about somebody that is a comedian at heart. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody that's. I think we as comedians, we see things differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not claiming to be a comedian. Like, I don't get paid to do comedy, but my mindset and the way I think is like a comedian. I see things differently. So for me to get upset or for me to be offended by something, that's saying something. That's not, I'm trying to be totally objective here. I'm trying to even give him the benefit of the doubt. But like you said, I can take a Black joke. I can take a Black joke from a white person, just like I would expect the white person to take a Black joke from me. But he was hitting below the belt. He was really, like you said, and like the lady said, he was really touching on some things that's, how somebody say, call you ugly, and they say in a funny way, but you really ugly. They really say it to an ugly person. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what he was doing. And he was making light of a lot of things. The chicken grease, lick the chicken. And then he said something about you're supposed to hold the gun like that, right? And then he said, make sure you hit a child so you might hit a gang member. And then what was the other thing he said?
Have a white person to blame.
Oh yeah, that was the one.
For everything that goes wrong in your life. Those were your real jokes. See,
yes.
See, this is what I heard. Okay. See, first of all, in order for me to get to my real issue, I have to try to camouflage it and make it sound like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I like we say scolding, or
Mm-hmm.
I was scolding on everybody.
Right.
Everybody, got a little piece. By definition, you sprinkled a little bit of salt on
Mm-hmm.
the white people, but nothing that you said to the white people was truly offensive.
No,
It
not at
wasn't.
all.
You know what? I can even say, I mean, cause I am, I'm somewhat borderline. I like to consider myself like a situational, humorous person.
Mm-hmm.
I dare not say comedian, but
Mm-hmm.
I think I can ride off of your energy. So
Right.
like, so if you say something funny, I'm gonna say something that's gonna like take that laughter on over, and then that's how we get our banter going back and forth. And that's the whole point of you even being on the show, because sometimes I know that I can go a little hard, and then
Mm-hmm.
you can say, you be like, you know what, bro? On second thought, that was kind of, whatever, whatever. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so let me kind of like back off of it a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
in this particular case, nah, this is what I learned from my sister back in the 80s. She goes, she called it "you're nice nasty."
Mm-hmm. Right.
You're coming across nice, but you're
Mm-hmm.
really nasty.
Mm-hmm.
You're hiding, you're camouflaging what you're really trying to say.
Right. Because
And
if there had been a crowd full of black people, he wouldn't have fired up those jokes.
no,
But
he would
since
have
he
changed it entirely. He would have
right,
changed
but
it entirely.
right, but
He like he said, that was his crowd. He was talking
mm-hmm.
to his people. And um I'm not gonna go back and play it again because I don't want to get distracted in my own emotion. But there was like one or two black people in there. I saw them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and the camera didn't stay on them very, very long, but they look like flies in a bowl of milk, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
and I mean they do. I mean, because you can't almost have any type of seminar, any type of showing, or any of those things because of the racial balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because had it been all white, then of course this would be looked at in a whole different point of view. So him trying to use the crutch of, "oh, I'm a minority too," stop that crap. And I almost cussed on my own show just now. Stop that crap. Okay, it
Mm-hmm.
was the same. It was that same approach that people was trying to get Whoopi at and everything. On the surface, you do not look anything like a minority. Because when
No,
we
what
say
you know what
minority, we're talking about black people.
exactly.
Okay,
You,
we're
you know what's
talking
weird?
black
What's
people.
weird is George Zimmerman was officially a minority. You
Yeah,
know, the guy that killed George Floyd, he was officially a minority because he wasn't
exactly.
he wasn't really white. You know what I'm saying? Even
Yeah,
the guy who was the leader of the Proud Boys, he looked like he was like, what was he, Latino or something?
Latino.
Right.
And I told you in my experience, when I have had came across a blatant racist, they were not white. They were actually Latino.
Wow.
I have lived a life, bro, and I have experienced racism firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And every time that something racist, blatantly racist came out of a person's mouth, like me being called a nigga,
Mm-hmm.
or me being avoided, or whatever the case may be,
Mm-hmm.
it was always with the Latino.
Wow.
Always. Blew my mind, but it so, so bouncing off of what the lady was saying about, even amongst minorities, you have racists. So you don't get to play that card. You don't get to
Mm-hmm.
play that card.
That's right.
You don't get to walk around and be like, hey, I can do a racist joke. No, you cannot. Because not only is it racist, but you are solidifying and you are solidifying stereotypes.
And you're doing distasteful jokes. Like, okay, say for instance, we tell a joke about a white person I haven't read.
Or can't jump.
Can't
sing.
Or can't, Chinese people being smart in math
or really good in kung fu. That's not AKA an insult.
Right.
It's not something that they're gonna be emotionally crippled for the rest of their life.
Right. When you make a statement like, make sure it's a white person around so you'll have somebody to blame for everything that goes on. And as a matter of fact, that wasn't even a funny punchline. That was sort of like a, you know what I'm saying? It was like a statement. You know what I'm saying? It's
he made a statement because it's how he feels when he looks at black men and women.
Right.
Mostly black men.
And let me ask you
and that's another thing. When we're talking about his quote unquote his punchlines, it was nothing funny.
No, not at all.
I'm a goofy person. I can sit up here and listen to Chris Rock say, "Fee, 5, 4 figure, boy, I hate a nigga." And I laugh because I don't look at myself, and when I see myself, I don't see a nigga. I see a black man. And when he talks about the differences between the black man and the nigga, I know, oh yeah, nigga, I am not. And we laugh, and there's content behind it. This was no content behind anything that he said. He put up stereotypes, and and this was a slick way to talk out loud about how he really feels.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, everything he said would have led to a fight in the streets. Everything.
Exactly. Outside of the turning the firearm sideways, but you still stereotype. But then again, well, see, that was the difference. The first slide when he was talking about white people, that was like above the belt stereotype where you say like get your finger out your nose, wear a wife beater, kind of like Jeff Foxworthy, you know you're a redneck if it's still funny banter. It was the playful stereotype, but
he was catering to them.
Right. So it's kind of like, well, I'm playing with y'all.
Right.
But the whole atmosphere, like Dr. Richie said, the whole atmosphere changed. I mean, as soon as the picture came up, whoa! Now, as a firearm person, facilitator, instructor, coach line, the whole nine, if you come across a real black man, a real black instructor, there's no need to even be humorous in your instructing. Simply because firearms is nothing to play with. It's not a toy, and not even your mentality is supposed to be playful. It is a tool, and it's a tool for destruction.
Right.
And that's the way that I teach. That's the way that I coach. That is the way that I train. And officially and unofficially, just sitting, talking to you and your wife, family, friends, and everything, because y'all know how serious I take firearms instruction. It's supposed to be serious. Why? Because it is serious. There is no room for laughter. There is no room for humor, because you're talking about protection for yourself and for the protection of others if necessary. What you have in your hand, go ahead.
You know what I peeked to in that little comment about holding holding the firearm locked sideways. It almost makes you think, where did that come from? How did
Hollywood?
Yeah, exactly. But why
I
was
ain't never seen anybody, trained or untrained, turn their gun sideways. Not in real life.
Right. But it makes it seem like propaganda or something, just another thing to because I'm sure that it's been young people in realistic that shouldn't have had a gun in a gunfight, shooting at somebody or whatever. I'm sure they held that gun sideways because that's what they saw on TV. Because that's what a lot of kids emulate, is what they see on TV, what they see in the games. You know what I'm saying? So it's just another little tidbit to sort of lead our people astray. Like, hey, this looks cool right here. This looks much cooler than like this. Much cooler than really aiming like this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It looks cool, but Denzel got 2 45s and he's shooting one like this and one like this in training day. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I said. Hollywood has a lot to answer for when it comes to things like this. There's a lot of history that has to be readdressed. There's a lot of cleanup because of the power of influence, that subliminal messaging that takes place. And then when you have ignorant bigots out here like this particular instructor that's trying to sit up there and perpetuate a cycle of stereotypes, and then to have government officials in this particular class, because birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together. So now that we know who they are, we got your names, we got your faces, we know the positions that you're seeking, don't be surprised.
Right.
Because like how Dr. Ritchie and the lady was saying, wasn't nobody laughing but you.
Right.
And you're going to see when it comes to these votes, you're going to see just how humorous that really was. Even for the Trumpeteers and the people that love to follow Trump, like no matter what, and the radical right wing, the far right, and everything else, it's no surprise. We're not surprised that you're racist. We're not surprised that you think you're superior and all these other stuff. There's nothing new under the sun.
Let me ask you this: Do you think sometimes while other minorities such as Asians or Latinos or Middle Easterners, do you think sometimes they sort of emulate the racism in order to be like, okay, we coming to America, white people run America, we want to be down with white people, so let's do, you know what I'm saying, let's go hard against, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like, because it's like you said, it really doesn't make sense when you're a minority. I mean, with black people used to be.
In other words, we are the lowest of the low.
Right. So it's like, let's go ahead and kick them while we down, just to, prove that, you know what I'm saying, we belong here. We just like y'all. We hate them too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it goes back to whoever pretty much wrote the game. Who wrote the rules to the game? Who's that's pretty much what it's about. You're going over to a place where white is right. White is better. White is not a color. White is a status.
Right.
The quote unquote the American dream, that's a status. And even for I think it's not even 2% of the 13% of the population that is Black here in America. Only 1% of us has made it to that kind of status. And even them, they have like this better than mentality. So Yes, but I know I agree with you to go back and to address it. Yeah, that's why that's the whole thing. They come here to be better, and they already know who wrote the rules to the game. Therefore, hey, we're with you. And let's just say that they don't even really buy the whole ideal of it, like the idea of it. But in order for them to get ahead, then that's what they do. I'm gonna share a very quick story with you. When I was in the Navy and I was traveling around the world and spent a lot of time over on the East Coast and the West Coast, and went to Korea, and accepted by a lot of people over there, and dating and things like that. You see mix everywhere and stuff, and especially whenever they're younger. Came across Japanese culture over there, even in Korea, and they say you will hardly find a Japanese person in a relationship with a Black person, but you will find them in a relationship with Vietnamese, Laos, and Filipino, like those. So the darker skins. So even in the Asian culture, the Japanese are the equivalent, so to speak, to the white man here in America.
Right. And that's similar to when you get like Cuban people and darker skinned Latino people who vehemently deny that they're Black. It lends itself to what you're saying. Is being Black is not necessarily a color, because it's like your wife or my wife. Yeah. They're Black, but it's white people that's darker than them.
Yeah.
So being Black is not a color at all. It's a culture. It's a, like you said, it's just status. It's a status, like you said. You know what I'm saying? If we were strictly talking about the pigment in somebody's skin, there's a lot of white people that's darker than some of the Black people that's here. Yeah. And it's a lot of Latinos. When I was watching baseball growing up, just like you, I thought Sammy Sosa was Black. I thought Martinez was Black, even though their names sort of told me. But just looking at them, I'm like, well, his mama dad must be Black, or you know what I'm saying? He must be mixed. But come to find out, these guys, like Ortiz, Big Papi, I thought they were Black until I heard them in interviews and stuff. Right. And so it just shows you that they're not. It's like when they come up here, they being brainwashed, and I say brainwashed, but you can't be brainwashed. I think it's voluntarily you're accepting the rules to the game. Okay, I want to get ahead. I know what I got to do. I know who the enemy is. You know what I'm saying? I know who the one we gonna pick at, and I know the one who every time I see them on the news, they're shooting somebody, and I know they always stealing, and they always, so it's propaganda that's beaten into your head,
right?
And it's systematically done, and I don't really blame them. I do, but at the same time, this machine that America has developed to stereotype us and to have us looked at in a certain light is very effective. It's very effective. I mean, you got media, you got advertisement, you got movies, you got the news, you got just like the I think it's a commercial that comes on now, and it's talking about how one of the candidates is so mad because, and they play a little soundbite of a teacher saying that racism is embedded in America's DNA or something like that. And they were saying, and what he was saying was that person was trying to turn our children against America. No, I feel like that person was really thinking outside the box and trying, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's a very accurate statement, actually. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's sad. It's sad to see, but And I wonder how those few black people that were sprinkled in there, I wonder how they feel, you know.
Right. Well, in my opinion, they ain't gonna say how they really feel out loud, and especially like right then and there. And of course, if he's a real instructor, he'll probably have like a little evaluation going for himself, asking the people like, how do they feel about the instruction? How do you feel about this, feel about that? He'll probably get, and that's even if he cares to even look at it. But just like how the lady was saying, even for these political dignitaries that was there, these potential candidates that's going for office, if anything, they should have said something in everything. But people know what side of the bread that they're being buttered on. Their bread is being buttered on. I know that's an old country way of saying it, but
you couldn't have stood in front of, you could not have stood in front of if you put yourself in a situation and you know what kind of jokes are going to be said, you know what kind of discussion, like what I'm saying is that's a seminar for gun safety. Okay.
Right.
So you could not have sat in that same crowd and said one joke about gay people or transsexual people, or because they would have, that would have been news. That would have been probably on 2020. You know what I'm saying? This story right here, I haven't even heard of. But if he would have did the same thing about some transsexuals or some gay people,
oh man, it would have went viral.
Exactly.
It would have went viral. They would have closed his business down. And this goes to show about the lack of value that America has on Black people as a whole. The lack of value of our lives, of how we continue to have to try to live, how to try to survive, how to try to yet overcome. And I'm telling you, bro, it's coming to a head. It is definitely coming to a head. But I'm trying to keep this thing short today. I know we struck a nerve, and thank you for the listeners that has hung in there with us this particular recording. We hope that you got something out of this. If you want to take this situation, if you want to take this episode a little deeper, let us know. Please hit us up in the comments, share it, ring that bell, subscribe to us. That way, every time we put something out, you will be one of the first ones to know what we did. And I just want to take this time out to thank my co-host, Duane Stinson. Thank you for taking out the time in your day to giving us your perspective on today's topic. Is there anything else you want to say to the people before we wrap it up?
No, it's just, just stay positive, just stay informed, and stay alert.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Bring your camera back in.
Yeah, I had a call coming.
Yeah,
I had a call coming in.
Okay,
but it's real life. It's real life, y'all. Things happen.
Real life. That's it.
It's live and in living color. No, but hey, we just gonna keep on bringing y'all these kinds of stories. And like you said, when we're talking about Latino and the fact that the most racist people that we know have been Latino, it's no slight against Latino people at all. You know what I'm saying? It's just
been my experience.
Right. It's just ironic that, you know what I'm saying? It's ironic that some of the most racial people that you encounter have been, minorities. You know what I'm saying? it just goes to show how good of a job this thing is being, perpetrated. So But man, I appreciate you having me on. Look forward to the next time, my brother. There's plenty of material out there, unfortunately. But you know, we're gonna keep on bringing these elephants to the circus and
So the next one, I'm just gonna give you a little spoiler alert. Before we wrap it up, we will talk about Cam Newton's statement that he had made when he was being interviewed about his vision, his view on what a boss bee is. So I do want to leave it as a cliffhanger. Yeah, I do want to leave it as a cliffhanger. I got plenty to say about that. And so, that's what we're going to be doing next. Stay tuned, guys. Thank y'all for joining us so much.
Peace.